Spoilerin time. This show breeds on the back of Cordkillers, sapping its energy.
Sorry.
No?
Yeah, no, you got it.
Breeds
Keep going. We're breeding on the back of Cordkillers.
What I'm saying is it takes all of the information and it sucks it up into Spoilerin time and applies it.
Yeah, it's
No?
okay. We're breeding, we're sucking, we're doing all sorts of good stuff today on Spoilerin time.
And then it expels all of our knowledge of the shows we've watched. Basically, Cordkillers lets us figure out how to watch things, and this is the show where we watch them and talk about them. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
I'm Brian Brushwood. That was possibly the best opening we've ever had for the show. What are we going to feast upon today as we breed and suck?
I am gathering into my arms an episode of Miami Vice. I don't know which episode this is. Bushido season 2 is really all you need to know. The numbering system is so messed up. We're also going to talk about Squid Game episode 8 season 1 and Hawkeye episode 4 of season 1. Shall we start with Hawkeye, Brian?
Yes, by the way, last week we had an email from somebody who said, like, is it a bit that Brian never knows what order things are in? And I explained that, I always go to the restroom. They followed up by saying, hey, here's a tip. The last one, Tom says, is always the first one you do. And I was like, haha, that's a good tip. I'll use that.
Let's talk about Hawkeye, episode 104. Does this one have a name of its own? It does. Partners, am I right? And we get some running and gunning. We get some moving about town. I don't know. It felt like this was a step down from last week's like truck defying episode. What did you think, Brian?
Well, okay. What's funny is I was going to say hard disagree, but now I'm going to say mild disagree because you reminded me that we had that amazing one shot last week.
Yeah. I'm not saying this wasn't an ambitious and exciting episode, but after last week, it felt like, oh, okay, we're shifting, we're downshifting a little bit, not all the way to first, but we're downshifting.
Last week, I think, was a show that I was not prepared to like, that really impressed me with a very, very good sequence that drew me all the way in. This one felt more lyrical, and musical, and it drew me in for the entire experience. There was never a moment where I was kicked out with like, well, that was dumb or that was stupid.
And the Clint and Kate dynamic is now earned, right?
Yeah, and it's actually, they're better now. They're much, much better. She's so much less frustrating and over the top annoying, and instead, like for the first time this episode, I was like, oh no, she seems pretty cool actually. Like they.
How did this episode change, or did it, your opinion on Clint's interactions with the LARPers? Because we see Kate's interaction with the LARPers, which is much different.
This is one of those retroactive pardons where it's like, okay, you made that terrible scene that I hated so much in the second episode just so you could set this theme up, and doesn't excuse. And again, we got an email from somebody saying like, why are you saying that that one fireman who stole from a property and suffered no consequences, I guess, is now a cool guy that they like? But outside of that, it's fine. I did not realize that there are only 6 episodes. And I guess I should have, because an entire B plot of this is that he has to make it home for Christmas, and they are releasing this weekly, and there's only 2 more weeks until Christmas for him to get home. But
no, there's 9 episodes, right?
No, there's only 6.
Oh, there's only 6. Oh, okay.
So
at least what
I thought,
says.
That's what I was told earlier today. God, I hope I'm wrong, because what I was hoping when I was watching this was that evil stepdad turns out to be pretty cool, and it's only evil mom. And it felt like this episode was kind of setting that up. But then I was told, maybe erroneously, that there was only 6 episodes, in which case
right.
there's not enough room. Yeah. So now all of a sudden it's like, no, evil stepdad has to be evil, and that's dumb.
Does he? I mean, we saw the new Black Widow pop up, and it would be, if this is a whodunit, it would make sense for it not to be the guy it obviously is.
Also, here's the thing on episode 1 that I did not expect to say. That was a great fight sequence, everything right down to the zip lining where it runs out of steam halfway down. In the Black Widow, they did a wonderful, fascinating job of hinting at who's fighting who, but not making it clear what their objectives were, which was a really interesting chess game, because it's like, okay, well, they're fighting, but also this person is punching another person, but maybe it's because that's, they're an interruption to the real objective and they have to protect them along the way. I was left really engaged and I thought it was good.
Yeah. And this is the kind of motivated cameo that I enjoy. I like a good cameo. I'm actually on the side of like, you know what, if I can make it make sense, I like seeing people show up in unexpected places, and that's super fun. This one, it felt almost like, it doesn't even matter that this is the woman from Black Widow, because guess what? That's who it should be. It should be a member of a secret organization that has its own agenda and is opposed to, and I'm blanking on Maya, and is opposed to Maya's organization, or maybe not opposed is overstating it, but is not exactly aligned with Maya. That was super good. I also feel like, Tony Dalton, who plays evil stepfather,
right,
also played Lalo Salamanca in Better Call Saul.
Right.
I feel like he should be James Bond.
Oh my God, I'd be so in on that. It would be like, it would be the equivalent of, because we're watching Miami Vice, it would be the equivalent of Edward James Olmos in his prime being James Bond, which I would also be all in on.
Which I also would have been on board with.
Right?
Yeah. And I don't just say that because his last name's Dalton. Like, there's something about
it's unconventional good looks. Like, he's rugged and handsome in a you used to be in a gang kind of way.
And you can believe, right? Lalo.
Right? Yeah.
He was the Salamanca guy.
Maybe that colors my opinion just a little bit.
Well, but he pulls it off as like, I believe you could probably try anything. Because when they're doing the sword play, I'm like, yeah, I'm buying it. I shouldn't buy that Lalo Salamanca knows how to do sword play, but I'm absolutely buying it.
I'm increasingly, like, now that they're actually trying to seduce us with a little bit of charm and him being romantic and sweet and dorky, by giving him a flaw, like he gets all the aphorisms wrong and so on. Like, that was all adorable. And I was like, where was this show 2 episodes ago? And it came at the right moment, because just now they're hopefully, fingers crossed, going to close the trap on the wrong person and figure out that the mom is the bad person.
Any other thoughts on Hawkeye?
It gets my most improved award. I mean, it's just better and better and better.
Yeah. All right. That is Hawkeye episode 4, season 1. Let's talk about Squid Game, season 1, episode 8, the penultimate Squid Game. We're almost to the end of the road. We had the aftermath. This time we did not see another game, but the aftermath of the 3 survivors coming back into the dorm room. There's only 3 beds now. Even though I had already seen this before, it was the first time I noticed that all of the art on the walls is the games that they've played.
Yeah, I definitely paused it and went back and went left to right, trying to see if there's, and in fact, the framing is excellent, because as a matter of fact, you can see in this particular shot, they sort of, there's something that hints at what this game is going to be. And you see a figure and you see a triangle, and that's as close as you get.
Yeah. And I was like, man, how did I ever notice that the first time through? But I guess I was distracted by the things. Also, we were kind of set up for a 3-way finale game. And then she died. So that's not going to happen.
Well,
now.
I took that to be that, and again, I thought this was the final round, or the next one would be the final round.
Sure. So it's confusing, right? Because Sabiak has a big piece of glass stuck in her gut. She's probably going to die from that. But we see... what's his face? The brother, or not the brber, but the
childhood friend
guy from the
business school.
Yeah. The business, the Seoul University guy, Songwoo. No. Yeah. Anyway, we see him kill her, finish her off to make sure. So I think you're right, Brian. Like, in a way, the dinner where they very clearly leave them all a knife at the end is a game of sorts. It's an unofficial game, the way the night when they all fought each other and killed a bunch of people was an unofficial game.
Well, I thought I definitely took it as an official game because certainly when one player lost, we had a complete change of setting and they finally, took them to somewhere else. Otherwise, I was under the impression that
when
they
I
would
say
sit there
unofficial
forever
and
and ever.
official, I'm merely defining official as we leave the bedroom area and go play a game versus like, you're on your own. Good luck. Hope you survive.
And we did see that they acknowledge events like that as part of the plan
game.
because that happened with the first night with all the strobe lights and all that stuff. That was a control.
So I guess they're all official,
game.
but there's like scheduled and freeform games, maybe a better way. I don't know.
Meanwhile, not for nothing. Look, I'd like to think I'm no slouch of sniffing out plot twists, but I never thought that the cop's brother was going to be the front man. And it wasn't like a big gasping Darth Vader, moment, but it was not bad for what it was.
So wait a minute. You just said you were surprised by that?
I did not know or care who the front man was. And for some reason, I don't think I put together, at least consciously in a way that I held on to, the possibility that the front man was the brother that they were looking for.
That is such a relief.
Okay, good. Because I'm terrified that you're about to play a clip of me saying this like 5 weeks ago.
In one of our conversations 2 or 3 episodes ago, you and Bryce both skated incredibly close to saying, I bet the front man is the brother.
God damn it. So that
Yeah.
is what happened. And meanwhile,
You
Kim
said
from
something
Chicago in
about
the chat
brother, but I think you were thinking he would be the not the front man, but like
the big bad,
the organizer of the whole thing
the
or
host.
something. And I was like, oh my gosh, did my face give it away? Did they know? And so the fact that you kind of forgot means like,
no. So in what I was pitching was whatever force is organizing this, whatever money is behind it, is the brother. But it's become clear that the front man is only a lieutenant to the Emperor Palpatine force behind it.
Right.
So I mean, in that regard, I was surprised because once it became clear to me that the front man is not the real organizer, then all of a sudden, I always thought that was going to be the brother.
Also, this episode is pretty much just a way to eliminate Sabyuk and say like, we only need 2 players for the finale, and it's got to be these 2.
It felt a little hollow. Was that just me, Bryce, or did you sense the same thing?
That this episode was hollow?
Yeah.
Well, I think this episode had a shortened runtime. This was only a half hour. The rest of them were about an hour, which I think you do that when you know you have this small gap to make between the end of the middle and the beginning of the end. And so if you really only have these 2 things of we need to decompress after the Glass Pane game, we got to get rid of one of these characters, and we got to do something with the with the police detective on the island trying to escape. If those are the only things you got to do, then that's not 60 minutes. I think that's 30 minutes, and that makes sense to me. Like, it was lighter, but it was shorter.
Yeah, I'm glad it was shorter. I'm glad they didn't drag it out. I understand what they're doing, which is you want to build a little more tension before you have Songwoo and Gyun face up against each other. And so having Sabyuk survive gives you a chance to do that. I still find it weird that they blow up the glass at the end of the time and it kills, essentially, it could have killed Sabyuk. It didn't, just because Songwoo stabbed her, but
it certainly
I also
didn't help.
get that you want to show Songwoo doing that so that Gyun has all of his doubts removed about his friend. Like there's no hope that his friend will come to an amicable arrangement. Like, his friend is very clearly has sold him out a couple of times already, and just finished off a woman who was about to die on her own.
So here is the beauty of that is that we've seen heels turn faces. We've seen bad guys turn good or whatever. And I can picture a monologue in which he says some version of, do you know what it's like to die from a gut wound? My grandfather told me in whatever war, first your guts turn inside out, and then your eyes turn to maggots, and then your flesh rips apart.
I did her a
service, right? And then so in which case I could do it. But also, I'm playing my own kind of a chess game of what are the moving pieces and what can they do. It does feel like they pretty firmly removed the cop from the chessboard. If not the shot, then that a fall from that height should kill a person. But they didn't show the body. They just showed the whatever.
We didn't see a body. That was the first thing Eileen and I said when we watched this. We're like, well, we didn't see a body.
Right. And also, he was shot in roughly the same spot as the spot that his genetically very close neighbor seemed to not be bothered at all by.
This family apparently is fine with that spot.
Right.
And the brother knew it when he shot his brother.
Cop is not entirely off the chessboard. Also, I have to believe that at this point of production, they have to know that there's a reasonable chance that there'll be a season 2, which colors my expectations going into the final round of the game. So we have a Hail Mary flare.
I have information on that.
Okay.
They did not plan for a season 2 when they conceived of it.
Ooh.
Netflix always left the door open, but the creator of this was resistant to the idea and said that he might revisit it someday, but he wasn't sure if or when. After a month or so of pressure,
success, yeah,
he broke down and was like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess you all really want to. I don't know if I have a choice." Was his words. Oh. So there will definitely be a season 2.
Okay,
but he certainly left doors open. Like we can see that already, but it wasn't necessarily because he was certain he wanted to do another season.
Well, okay, in that case, that does color things because
anyway,
certainly in American, television, they would leave the door open, which would tell me that whatever end battle between our two figures, one now clearly mediocre good and the other mediocre evil, there would be some way that it would be implied that one won and the one lost, but maybe he's not dead or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, Bryce, and I'm going to try not to look at Tom as we discuss this, but if you were going to make a guess as to what they do to wrap everything up,
I would have to excuse myself from that game.
Oh,
I couldn't help it. It was only 30 minutes, and
I can't look at any of you. I can't look at any of you.
I have nothing to
Brian,
say. I enjoyed this
guess
episode.
What happens in the final episode? What would you guess?
We're taking us all off the screen here.
I would guess that I would explain how secretly we're all different.
Can we get that as more flamboyant?
No, sorry. Okay, if I was going to guess, my previous guess was, like I said before, Chekhov's cell phone text pictures almost certainly has to pay off. There has to be, despite all odds, the Coast Guard or whatever, frontman ends up seeing justice either at the point of a gun, or we get some kind of satisfying explanation about how this is all either a Scientology cult or an improv class cult. But the point is, once you're roped in, you're roped all the way in forever and ever, and it's a multi-level marketing scheme. And then our hero is Guillaume. Doesn't get money, but emerges as if he was on a heroic journey. He emerges back to where he came from, a changed man, and he keeps his promise without the money to take care of the family of the girl from North Korea. I'm not looking at you, Tom. I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at either of you.
All right, that's your prediction. There we go. Brian has lodged his prediction here. We've got all of our masks on.
Oh, lordy me, you've entered your prediction. Oh, Lord.
It's called the story circle. I invented it.
I
It's
simply
me,
have the
Dan
vapors at your
Harmon.
circle.
I'm looking away.
All right. Is there any more about Squid Game?
I did think it was interesting that the two brothers end up shooting each other like mirror style, right? The front man is lefty, so he ends up shooting on the opposite side.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
That is good.
Nice touch. Yeah. All right. That is Squid Game 108, and we will finish with 109 next time. Let's talk about Miami Vice Season 2, episode something or other, Bushido. I didn't think they could get weirder, Brian. And then I watched Bushido.
I am very glad that this was not a late night watch for me. This was
the 80s, when everyone traveled by roller skate.
This is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed morning coffee Brian giving his full attention to Miami Vice and thinking, WTF. Like the budget ran out, like, or they stopped caring, or the series order got expanded. Like, let's start with that. Let's start with that ending in which
Surf's up, pal.
they jump out from nowhere. They shoot nothing. It is implied that
All
the
you gotta do to
communist
save a kid is
dies.
put him behind a palm tree. They'll be fine.
But and then
They show up in after they explicitly say there's only one way on the island, and it's through the backside of where they're at, and so then Tubbs and what's his name come from the other side.
Crockett and Tubbs, yeah.
And it's not like they show a boat, but that's the boat that they were waiting for. Not that, like, did they swim? They swam because they jumped into the water. They swam.
They jump out from the palm trees. They shoot off screen. You see somebody fall, and then you see the panning off, and you see an ocean shot in which they say, "You got him. He's still alive." And then again off screen, you hear them say...
That doesn't even save you money to do that. I'm not sure why you do that.
Well, did you guys
you
notice?
know what? Actually, it just occurred to me. What that looks like is they had a properly shot ending, and an executive said, you can't show this and you can't show that. And they're like, all right, we'll cut what we have and make do.
Probably, but let's go back to, so we're going backwards. That end scene, hot garbage. Let's go back to just a scene before in which Edward James Olmos completes his story and has the weirdest death scene I've ever seen. And then in about 10 seconds is shown with zero consequences after he died.
Well, I mean, did he die?
Okay,
Or did he just die?
Again, I backed it up and I took a video and I texted you, Tom. I don't know if you went back and watched it, but it's like he finishes his story and he goes, his eyes roll back and he falls to the ground.
Here's the thing, Brian. That's a great fake out because Castillo knows it's the only way to sell it.
Yes.
And we know this is a fake out because Edward James Olmos is a much better actor.
And it's got to be a fake out because he was stabbed in the back but has a wound in the front of his guts. And
through.
Also, by the way,
works for swords, right?
Ding dong! It's me, the actor from Succession.
Brian Cox?
No. It starts with an R. He was in the '80s comedy Sledgehammer. Do you know who I'm talking about? No. Okay. All right. Anyway, he's in Succession.
Who is this?
He's one of the lawyers. Keep going until you find the blonde communist.
I only have 4 pictures here.
Okay. So anyway, he opens the
Surf's
door.
up, pal.
Yeah, his name's Surf, the guy who plays Surf.
Okay.
Door opens and he's like, I'm a Russian. You're coming back to Russia, see? And then and she shoots him.
Because I'm Russian, see?
And then 10 seconds later, Again, with no consequence, he's driving around, he's walking around, and then hard cut to he's driving with his feet.
that one was
for some reason, and this is a visual bit. He is, I kid you not, I don't know if we're able to violate terms of service. His feet are up. He's sitting on the back of the seat of a car, driving with his feet, holding a gun, and then manages to hit the brake and change the transmission to park.
He brakes and parks the car.
It's incredible. The skill involved. It's almost unbelievable.
Okay, and then going back farther in time.
Okay.
This is definitely an Edward James Olmos story, and I like that they did that. I like that they tried to.
Did you guys notice why? Tom or Brian? Did you? I think Tom, you probably are about to say why you noticed why, but did you notice why, Brian?
Well, because Crockett and Tubbs weren't in it.
No, Tom, did you notice?
No, I didn't.
This episode directed by Edward James Olmos.
Oh. All right, well played.
Also, Edward James Olmos is still damn good.
Yes.
In multiple scenes in this. You're like, this is carrying this episode. He's so good. Castillo has a lot of connections. Like, he knows voodoo people. He knows former CIA agents from Myanmar.
He had partners in Vietnam, where, of course, Japanese samurai come from.
Right.
We had the company, which I think is probably something we missed in an episode, but they have this idea of the company. Which
that's just slang for the CIA. That's that's
okay.
outside of the world of Miami Vice. That's just that's a spy trope. Calling the CIA the company. Yeah.
I see.
My favorite scene is so. All you need to know is that Edward James Olmos is off doing his thing, and Crockett and Tubbs are trying to find him. The entire scene, it goes from Edward James Olmos is in, I don't know, a bushido factory, a temple or whatever.
Because when you fight in Vietnam and Cambodia. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yes. I swear I'm describing all this correct, and I have videographic evidence of it. Cut to Crockett and Tubbs. I hate feeling like we're one step behind. Uniformed cop. Hey, man, I got some questions of my own. Gunshot heard in the distance. Uniformed cop turns and dives into the water at the sound.
Dives directly and immediately into the water.
Uniform dives into water at the sound of gunshots.
And then the van comes up, and then Crockett and Tubbs do the exact same thing.
After shooting, also the van crashes into the cruiser, and then whatever killers there are get out of the van and run away on foot. What was that?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how that fit into the plot.
I rewatched it 7 times, Tom.
Yeah.
You were kidding me.
No, I had to because I had to give video.
Oh, that
of
scene.
it.
I thought you the whole
Oh,
episode.
no, good God, no.
Also, was anyone else mildly confused when they walk into the porno shop
That
without
turned out
any
to be like
prior explanation of this being a front? And they start talking to Deep Throat from X-Files, and you're like, is this some kind of meta commentary? What's going on here?
That made sense to me.
By the way, the blonde guy is David Rash, who was Sledgehammer back in my childhood.
Agent Harden played the Deep Throat in X-Files too. So go forward.
But also the set design.
Bored Housewives.
I mean,
Bored
quickly
Housewives, low lives here.
I quickly caught on, mostly because of how bad the decor of the shop was, and also the dialogue made it clear. But at first I was like, what are they doing there? I don't like, who are, and then, I guess it was supposed to be like, you'll figure it out sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
it was not complicated.
real quick.
It was not a typical decor, but
How about that hallway shot where they went full Keystone Cops caper action? while one person was walking with a sword across the hallway from one side to the other, another person was going. It was full Scooby-Doo.
And Castillo doing the ceiling, in the little bathroom, like, oh, I gotta stay up here so he doesn't like everything. They did. Cool. I'm glad we got another change of plan, a change of pace. I'm into it. Let's go.
Bushido.
Also, pro tip, all the way back. Now we're at the beginning. Pro tip: if the script says opening shot, sexy girl is riding roller skates. At some point, a casting director had to get a sexy girl to ride on roller skates. Maybe ask, do you know how to ride on roller skates?
Did you notice that all of them were on roller skates?
Yeah.
There was a lot of roller skates.
Except for the dude who was buried in the sand, breathing
Except
through
for
a
the dude
plastic
buried in the
cup.
sand
Ingenious.
and Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell was.
We haven't even talked about Dean Stockwell.
We haven't even mentioned Dean Stockwell.
Who was Dean Stockwell?
He was the agent that knew Castillo.
The one who died halfway through. The one who hugged
The one
him
they were
and then
after.
turned around with an Uzi and missed.
I guess
and
I
then
would-
got shot in the chest.
Oh, okay.
He was Jack Gretzky.
I also don't know who Dean Stockwell is, so I don't know why I asked.
Well, that
I will say though, I thought the sting operation at the beginning was neat. I thought the solo cup guy was incredible. I don't know why more cops are not doing that. That would be incredible to see just pop up. But I will say that this shot here that they've got of the guy that they were
Mrs.
chasing,
Doubtfire.
the guy's strung up, like covered in cocaine. I don't think that they did a very good job of explaining that that man was dead.
I mean, either that
Or who that man
trying
was.
to visit his children by pretending to be a British housewife. Also, I'm pretty sure that shot, in order to get it, looking at it now, do you think he was actually hung upside down, or did he maybe lay down on the ground?
No, they probably had, I don't think he was hung up because you don't see his feet, but I bet that he was secured from out of frame.
Right.
Yeah,
but
that's an actual public toilet they're in. I don't know if they created a set. Not on the budget of this episode.
oh, that's right. Actually, yeah. God, dog.
Interesting episode. Interesting episode.
I can't decide if this is evidence that we should stop or evidence that we just need to go even farther. This is the event horizon.
I'm having a good time. I'm not going to lie.
I'm in.
Okay, all right. If you're in,
Yeah.
I'm in.
It's not
we're-
even hate
we're-
watching. It's just like
fascinating.
jaw
just-
drop
yeah,
watching.
just bizarre watching, right?
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'm assuming you all switched over to Peacock to watch this. Very convenient that they were not able to sell any ads on Peacock, so you just got ads for other Peacock things. when you watched.
I paid money. I subscribed.
Mhm.
Wow.
I paid $10 and was served ads despite about 15. I mean, this
Ads for anything that weren't NBC/Peacock shows.
no, but I paid for
Yes.
not limited
I know.
interruptions.
No, I'm not excusing. I'm explaining.
Okay.
They are serving you promos, not paid for ads,
Mhm.
which is BS.
Is this what I get for my $10?
But I'm guessing, I don't know. I had the same experience where I had just paid to upgrade and I got those and I'm like, okay, these are all shows. So is that a thing where,
And you
you don't get ads, but you do still get promos in the middle of the show?
Oh, you do not
Or
get
is
to
it
do
like
that.
my payment just hadn't gone through yet? I will report back after this week's viewing because I did watch it right away.
They do list on the website the $10 plan is the ad-free one, except a small amount of programming will contain ads, Peacock channels, events, and a few shows and movies. We know that Miami Vice was very recently added here. It is not crazy to think that that is a program that
Maybe
they
it's an
have the wrong
exception to
policy for, or it just falls
Yeah.
under this. We
Remember
haven't
that thing where Hulu's ad free would show you an ad before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because the,
On the ABC
the
shows.
agreement was they couldn't carry it without ads.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the deal with Miami Vice.
And I
but
feel
they
like the
need to
ad-
explain that.
The part that makes it doubly painful is the fact that unlike Hulu, where it's like there's this tier, or this tier, they listed it as two different products. Product number one, become a member and enjoy limited ads. Product number 2, pay us $5 for no ads.
No, it's $5 for limited ads, $10 for no ads.
No, $5 more. Like
$5 more.
they do not list it as a $10.99 or a $10 product. Like in this advertisement, it says it, but it is itemized on the bill upon checkout that you are buying 2 things. You are buying a membership with limited ads, and you are paying $5 for no ads. It literally says no ads.
Right.
And then I got
Like the
ads,
Hulu
and I
thing.
wasted 30 minutes trying to refreshing because I was convinced that there must have been a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's what we're saying is it's either likely a mistake or it's a contractual thing. And also the ad placement.
And if it's a contractual thing, which they do have an asterisk on their site, whatever, where they explain that.
That doesn't make
They
it
need
good.
to explain that really. Like, I remember Hulu saying the following show is going to show you an ad, even though you're on the ad-free feed, because we have to. And I was like, okay, I don't like this, but at least I understand why it's happening. Whereas with Peacock, I was like you, Brian. I'm like, did my payment not go through? Is there like a weird thing where I need to sign out and sign back in again? Like what's going on? So yeah, I'm curious. As well.
I'll say
anything else on Miami Vice?
No, yeah, we're still all in, but I would like to hear. It sounded like you had one more.
Oh
thought.
no, it was just back on the ads. As I did not get product ads. I got Peacock or NBC. I got one Peacocker thing or promotional thing per break, and then it moved on.
Yeah,
but it
mine
did not
didn't
seem
even-
like the timing was right on it either. It seems like
Right.
it would go in and out at a very weird place.
Yeah, none of them lined up with natural commercial breaks.
But on Peacock, the captions are actually correctly timed. They were always wrong on the NBC.com website. They were always early. Where here, they were actually the correct timing. So, I don't know. You win some, you lose some.
That is Miami Vice Bushido.
My God. What an
And that's it for
experience.
Spoilerin' Time. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Next week, we will be talking about Hawkeye 105, Miami Vice Season 2 episode Back in the World with guest star G. Gordon Liddy as G. Gordon Liddy, and the finale of Squid Game, Season 1, Episode 9. Of course, the week after that, don't forget, folks, it's the Killy Awards coming into your feed. Where we'll be talking about the award-winning shows and movies that Brian, Bryce, and I watched over the past year. Don't miss that in your feed in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody, for supporting us at patreon.com/Cordkillers, and we will spoil you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.